and was overthrown by Captain Mikombero, who made himself president and asked him to come back, on a guarantee of safety. Mobutu acceded to that, and Tara came back and was killed. And the Hutus went on a rampage, slaughtering, the Hutus as usual. Last year, how things came to a head now. Last year in October, that was the first time, really, in June last year was the first time the Hutus ever took control of the Burundian government. There was a free and fair election in which a guy called Melchior Ndadaye, became the first democratically elected president in Burundi. Of course, he was a Hutu, the first Hutu to be president. In October last year, he was overthrown and assassinated. In fact, he was in his palace when the Tutsi army attacked, captured him and took him to the barracks, removed his watch, emptied his pocket, and stabbed him to death. And before they killed him, he told them, he said, look, be careful what you're about to do. It is very, very dangerous. This happened on a Wednesday. Early morning Thursday, the Hutus went on a rampage, started slaughtering Tutsis all over. In fact, this is the first time in Burundian history that Tutsis have been at the receiving end. Over 100,000 were killed. Then somebody else called Cyprien Ntayamira, who is a member of the Hutu elite, succeeded him. Mind you that when this coup was going on and all these killings, thousands of Hutus started running to Rwanda. So the more Hutus ran to Rwanda, tensions in the Rwandan government started building. That here there are kings running over here, and they started getting agitated. In 1990, a group of Tutsis who were in Uganda invaded Rwanda. The funny thing about this is that these particular Tutsis were members of the Ugandan army. The president of Uganda, a man called Yoweri Museveni, who himself overthrew the military government by guerrilla warfare, has used these Hutus amongst his army to come to power. So he has promised them that when he became president, he was going to unleash them, send them back to Rwanda as an army. The first commander of the Tutsi army was a commander of Ugandan army, General Guema. And the current commander now of that Tutsi rebels in Rwanda now was also the chief of the Ugandan military intelligence, General Paul Kagame. So Museveni really is the prime supplier of arms to the Tutsis. What an irony, to destabilize Rwanda when Uganda itself is recovering. Okay, so in 1990, the Tutsi rebels, with the aid of Museveni, invaded the country. There was a ceasefire last year brokered by the OAU and the United Nations, asking the president at that time, called Juvenal Habyarimana, to appoint Tutsis to his cabinet. Well, he was willing to do that. That was why he flew to Tanzania, with Cyprien Ntayamira, the president of Rwanda, to talk with Ali Hassan Mwinyi, who is the president of Tanzania. Now, on his way back with Ntayamira, their plane, was shot down. There has been speculations on who did this. Some say, well, it was the Rwandan rebels. Now, some investigation, of course, coming from the Belgians who support the Tutsis, nobody's very sure, claimed that the plane was shot down by the Hutu Presidential Guard, who did not want Habyarimana to negotiate and bring Hutus into the government. So as soon as this happened, this gave a pretext to the hardliners in the Presidential Guard to go on and carry out the final solution. In fact, up to now, over 200,000 people have been slaughtered in that country.
In all of this, Dr. Madu, it's nothing but atrocities that are being committed not only in Africa but in Europe and everywhere you look today. And while all of that information sort of gives us a thread, and it leads to another